Good morning. Thought we'd get on here and do a little bit of a live update weather stream. How's everyone feeling? A little groggy in the voice coming off Thanksgiving, so I'm sure maybe some of us are moving a little bit slower. Maybe some of you, of course, up early on the Black Friday deals. That's something I used to do. I used to, hit it hard and get those deals. I find online shopping pretty convenient now. So, anyways, I'll start here in just a few seconds. But I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. We had it with the family and kind of a small gathering. It was really nice. We actually hosted. It had been a while since I had to prepare not that we prepared everything, but we had to do the turkey and the ham and the mashed potatoes and a casserole. So we got to kind of take a little bit more part in this year's Thanksgiving dinner. So, all right. Want to get to your weather forecast, though. Of course, big weekend for many of you off on break, Black Friday. Maybe some of you still need to travel home from the Thanksgiving holiday throughout the weekend. So we want to definitely talk about that. And we want to talk about our chances for seeing our first snowfall, at least through most of the Wasatch Front, where we have been waiting for some time. You know, we talk about that the average first snowfall for Salt Lake City is November 8th. Well, past that, it's kind of more of a rare situation that we don't see our first fall until December. It does happen. I mentioned that over the past 137 years, it's happened 15 times. The longest that we've had to wait is actually till the first week of January, at least in Salt Lake City, before we saw snowfall. So, but hopefully we can begin to change that for this week. If you want to add any comments, have any questions, please go ahead and chime in, but let's get to it. All right, let's switch this over here. And let's look at this. All right. So we've got a couple of little features, some systems that are going to be moving through the area. The first one now tracking through Idaho. That is providing for some areas across portions of eastern Idaho with some wet conditions, not anything of great significance, but this is going to be clipping northern Utah a little bit later on as we head into the evening hours. Not going to have much of an impact, mainly dry, but it looks to produce potentially maybe a few isolated mountain showers. And as we do see those mountain showers, we are expecting to see some snow, very light, maybe a few light showers near the Utah-Idaho border, but that's one thing that we're just kind of keeping an eye on. So we've got another little system that's going to slide behind it. This one's on target for Sunday. This is the one that will at least bring a better chance of precipitation here across at least northern, central, and maybe even southeastern Utah. So with the updated models, it's actually having a little bit of a larger range, or a wider range, I should say, of an impact across the state, where initially, at least the last couple of days, we thought it just had to be mainly northern Utah, but this is going to slide a little bit further south as well, and even in toward portions of eastern Utah. So let's talk about this. Let's kind of go through what we're going to be seeing. These are computer models that project where the clouds and the showers will be. So as we have the clock set here at Friday morning, we move through the day. No issues here, especially if you're traveling through central, southern, eastern Utah. Canyon travel potentially could be an impact, but it's only a few canyon areas I see the biggest impact. Uinta Mountains, if you're going to do up the Mirror Lake Highway, which not a well-traveled area, but that's one issue. And then moving potentially through Logan Canyon definitely could be something of an issue there. Now the showers, very brief. You're seeing that little bit of blue, that snow that'll fall, quickly moves on. That by tomorrow morning we don't see any issues. We've got some clouds, as you can see, and cooler temperatures in the forecast for tomorrow as we look for northern Utah. Saturday, kind of a cloudy day. Northern through central Utah will have breaks here and there, but as we move into Sunday morning, we start getting ready for our next storm system. That storm is due to arrive Sunday morning. You can see that line of showers coming through Box Elder County. That's associated with the front, where ahead of that, we will see overnight showers, mainly for the mountains, but then it starts to fill in for the valleys as we go through the early morning hours. So between 8 and 9 to about the noon hour, you're going to see that activity. Now, initially, it could be a mixture of some rain and snow as colder air moves in, transitioning the snow. What we're looking at is not much an accumulation for the valley floors, really hardly any at all. And not a lot for the mountains, but we are seeing a little bit more from the current runs of the models where we could be looking at a little bit higher amounts. And then you see those showers continue to track further southward through central Utah, potentially having an impact in Cedar City, and then turning towards southeastern Utah. So St. George looks to avoid this. And a lot of the state won't see much activity. Really, the focus is across northern Utah, but we see moments through central and southern Utah that we do see some showers in play. Now, how much snow are we talking about? So I'm just looking at the northern mountains. Again, we thought more of a range between 1 to 3 inches. Now we're scaling that up. Yes, some areas, kind of that 1 to 3 inch range, as you can see in Park City, but Alta, looking at the Cottonwood Canyons over towards the western Uinta Mountains, we could be more in a range between 3 to 6 inches and maybe a little bit more. So good, yes, we know we can get a lot more. We've had, of course, bigger storms, and that's what we're kind of hoping for, because all across the state, well, I should say for most of the state, we're definitely below our snowpack. Even though it's early in the season, we're definitely keeping an eye on that. So valley locations, yes, we will see flakes flying. Sticking to the roads, doubt it. Except across extreme northern Utah. Brigham City showing maybe a little bit more, potentially upwards of an inch in Provo, but you can see for most areas it's a trace to a skiff, maybe a half of an inch. But again, it'll just be kind of sticking to the grassy surfaces there. So forecast for today, not bad. Still temperatures above average, 50s and 60s as we're ahead of these storm systems here. But again, we start to see that change here moving through tonight, through the weekend. But again, if I'm looking at travel time, today's great. For most of the day. Again, it's only that little area of potentially Logan Canyon, maybe Sardine Canyon tonight briefly. So when we make plans to travel for sure. Saturday looks to be fine. It's just Sunday, and it's kind of morning for northern Utah, tracking through central Utah, heading into the afternoon. So that is the only concern I have along I-15, and then later in the day, I-70. Again, it's not a lot, but it's definitely can provide for some damp roads. And canyon travel would probably be a little bit of an issue. So canyon travel from Parley's down through Weber Ogden Canyons, Spanish Fort Canyon, then moving along I-70, especially as you go into the afternoon, early evening hours could be an issue. So Sundays, a question mark. It is a little bit more of a concern. It's not a big storm, but just something to be mindful of. All right, 7-day forecast for St. George. There you go. Cooler, yes. You're not seeing the showers. Yeah, these impacts of these storms, again, having more of a focus across northern and central Utah. So northern Utah, again tonight, isolated mountain shower. Not valley's not getting into the mix. Good travel today and tomorrow. Sunday, that's an issue. So that's a day that we'll have to be mindful of, especially in the morning hours. You get into the afternoon across northern Utah, you should be good to go. But then the focus turns towards central into eastern Utah, afternoon into the evening. Break Monday. Then we got another little weak system moving through on Tuesday, bringing a mixture of rain and snow. We'll put a few more inches kind of in that 2 to 4 inch range for the mountains. Hopefully that gets updated. Maybe we can squeeze out more. So we kind of were forecasting that this season would be more of these more periodic, weaker storms, and that's what we're finding right now, helping with the inversion, keeping mixed out, but it's not generating big dumps of snow, which I think we definitely would want that for our snowpack, for our reservoirs, and of course to get the ski season kicking off in full scale here as we're just making the snow right now. But anyhow, let's see if I had any comments, any questions. I don't see any. But that's your look at your forecast here. Hopefully that helps out, giving you some at least thoughts of travel if you're needing to travel home. Hanging Christmas lights. I got mine up. Most of it I still have to do some today. So today and tomorrow, trying to get that done. Today more so because of these temperatures. So that's been my focus. But anyways, hope you have a rest of the Thanksgiving weekend fun, and it will be safe for you, and we'll catch you on where tonight we don't have a 4 or 5 o'clock newscast, but we're on at 10:30 because of football. So go Utes and Cougars though, and Aggies, all the teams wishing for wins here throughout this weekend. So have a good day. Talk to you soon.